That Berkeley Professor Jam meme that went around, I made a video on a couple days ago raising the bigger question behind it. This is part 2 of that series, and there is one more coming a couple days later that closes it out, the series. If you missed part 1, tap the card top right corner right now. Watch it first. Today picks up exactly where that one left off. And here is where it picks up. That tune you just heard, the All the Things You Are, you have been playing it wrong since the very first bar. Not because the notes are hard, because you have been treating the melody like an introduction, something to get through before the real playing starts. But the first note is already the answer. It is what the video I uploaded a couple days ago was pointing at, sitting right inside this song. By the end of this video tonight, when you sit down with All the Things You Are, you will never have to guess a single note over these changes again. I'm Junan Choi, the Berklee College of Music, the Richie Hart student. I teach through what I called the functional diagonal approach. At Berklee College of Music, every jazz guitar student played this tune. All the Things You Are, they called it the Berklee Anthem, the tune that showed whether you actually understood harmony or just memorized it. I have taught it in private lessons for years, and almost every student worked in the same way. Scales picked out, chord changes analyzed, key centers mapped, and when they played, it still did not sound right. That is the thing. The Berklee picked the right tune to test you on. They just do not teach it the right way. Today's episode is the clearest example I know of why functional diagonal approach exists in the first place. 3 things before we go on. 1. You have been treating this tune as a chord problem. The changes move fast, the key shift, so you have spent your time learning which scale fits which chord, and it still does not sound like jazz. 2. Jerome Kern did not write this as a jazz exercise. It is a love song from 1939, and every note of that melody is sitting on the third of the chord underneath it. Not sometimes, every time. The composers already solved the harmony for you in the very first bar. 3. So tonight, not after you watching my building blocks, the free 2-hour lessons, not after a month of practicing it. No, tonight, you will be able to take all the things you are off your stand, find the first chord, and apply step 1. The first attempt will be rough. That is the point. The map starting working the moment your eye lands on the third. So, why does not anyone hear this when they play it? Let me tell you about a student who came to me last year or year earlier. He had done his bachelor's at Musicians Institute in Hollywood. He was started the lesson. He said it later. He didn't believe my curriculum, the way I teach him. Why would he? Everything at MI had said different, the scale-based, position-based, the whole curriculum. But he also knew exactly what he'd been taught was not working. So he could play clean. He could play solo over the pop songs, the scale work, and he is really put his effort in it, the commitment, but he could not play the improvising. He was about to walk into a USC audition with that gap in his playing. So he made a decision throughout everything he'd been taught and went all in on what we were doing. We worked on one principle. Every melody note sitting on the third of the chord underneath. Same principle that is hiding inside the song you just heard. Then, a couple months in, this happened. He sat in on a jazz class back at MI because he was still in he was senior year. So read off the chart and mislead the key in one ensemble. But he played the entire tune in the wrong key. But because he was tracing the guide tones, so he learned it from me. So he is tracing down the guide tones, but the other notes were all the outside key. So he was trying, he hit the third on every chord. The chord tone, the framework was still right. The notes he played were wrong against the scale he should have been in. They were dead right against the actual chords moving underneath. The MI professor stopped him at the end and asked him, "Who is your influence? Who do you listen to?" Like he'd just played some advanced outside line, sophisticated harmonic tensions, but he had not. He'd misled the key and played the third on every chord, that's it. Stop and sit with an MI faculty member could not tell the difference between advanced outside playing and the student tracing chord tones in the wrong way is to a curriculum built on scales. But he got into USC with a scholarship. Here is the part I heard later. He is at USC now, and what I taught him is in friction with what his current professors are teaching. Scale, modes, positions. The West method versus chord-scale theory inside the same school year. Caught between two approaches in the same building. That is not bad people on either side. It is that chord-scale theory and what we do here genuinely do not agree. No amount of formal training bridges them. You pick, he picked, he is still picking. The school upsetted him for what he learned with me. They are still teaching him what got him stuck in the first place. That is the system this video is about. The reason that audition worked was not talent. He had talent, so do thousands of other auditioners. He won because he stopped trying to construct something on top of the changes and started reading what was already there, the melody. That is all improvisation is, really. Remodeling. You are working into a building Jerome Kern already designed. Your job is to understand the blueprint before you pick up the tools. The blueprint of all the things you are is this. Every melodic phrase lands on the third of the chord underneath it. Not sometimes, every time. Kern built the entire harmonic logic into the melody. The melody is the map. Once you read the map, you stop guessing. The line follows naturally. So the opening melody notes is A flat. The first chord is F minor 7. And the third of the chord, the F minor 7, is A flat. So this is the F minor 7 shared voicing, but the melody is on top. Because, yeah, we can play the melody down below. Yeah, when you are the front man of the band, then this register is really, really good register for the guitar. It is thick. It has the tone. But when you're playing in guitar trio, the melody on top of the chord is much more doable. Right? So the every melody is the third of the chord. That is not a coincidence. Jerome Kern knew exactly what he was doing. He is telling you in the first note, here is where the harmony is. I am standing on it. Follow me. Most players hear that opening notes and think F minor 7, F minor 7, okay. A flat minor scale or F minor Aeolian. So yeah, they are analyzing it. In this case, F minor F Dorian is not working because this is a 6th chord. Yeah, but those all analysis is pointless if you don't have that target where it's going. So they are not hearing what the melody is saying. What the melody is saying is, I already know where the chord is. You do not need to search. So the third, right? I was just playing the melody at the same time when the melody is happening, which means the first beat of the chord. You hear that? You still hear the melody, right? Not the solo or chord scales. The melody lands on the third of whatever chord is underneath it. The melody is tracing the inner voice of the harmony. That is the blueprint. The key center is about to shift in the next section, but watch what stays the same. This tune moves through 3 key centers: A flat, C major, E flat major, and it goes to in the bridge it goes to at the G major and E major, right? But that's what makes it the Berklee Anthem. It tests whether you can follow the harmony when it shifts underneath you. Most guitarists freeze when the key center moves because they are thinking in scaled blocks. And when the block changes, they have to find a new one. But here's what stays consistent through every key center shift. The melody keeps landing on the third. So, in the next 8 bar, it starts from the C minor. Third, it keep third. Third, right? Third, 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 third. The bass moves, the key changes. The melody keeps doing the same thing. Once you can hear that, once your ear locks onto the third at every chord changes, the key center shift stop feeling like a danger zones. They feel like a new room in the same building, same blueprint, different floor. And remember that USC student played this tune in the wrong key and the chord tone, the framework still lined up. That is not a trick, that is the structure. So that's all I am doing. Third at each chord changing. One note per bar. No scale, no arpeggio, just the blueprint. That line already sounds like the tune because it is the tune, stripped down to its bones. Now, watch what happens when I add one more note. Right? Before it was just right? There is the pure melody, but I add a couple notes in between them. Right? The third of one chord moves by like whole step either or half step to the third of the that is inside every Wes Montgomery line, every Peter Bernstein phrase, every Charlie Christian solo. They are not running scales, they are following the inner voice that Ken built into the melody in 1939. I had another student story. Came to me after spending a whole semester at a music school learning a scale dot system. Connecting shapes across the fretboard, he could play all the shapes clean, he still could not solo. We threw out the whole system, we started from one guide tone, and he soloed in the second session. Not because he became a different player overnight, because the system he had been carrying was the thing blocking the line. The line was already there. The map had been hidden under shapes. That is exactly what happens when you stop chasing scale on all the things you are and start tracing the third. And in the series number 3, close this series. How this exact principle becomes a whole line walking through the changes without backing tracks. And the reason using backing track is more harm to your playing, to your ear, than the benefit. So stay in tune and watch the next one. That shift from guessing to reading the blueprint is what most adult learners are quietly waiting for, and it does not usually arrive on its own. There is a student I keep thinking about, a doctor, came to me after 10 years of trying every method on the internet. A few weeks in, after we walked through the exact concept on this exact tune, he said something I have not been able to forget. The people who start with you from the beginning are so lucky. He meant it. He knew exactly how much time the wrong sequence had cost him. If you have been playing all the things you are for years and still feeling like you are guessing, you are him. Quick before we close, the June's songbook drops on Monday. These three jazz standards, every voicing, every line traced, every reason behind every choice, the curated solo with the third on every chord architecture made visible. It is the practice the system never gave you. It is what that doctor was looking for 10 years too late. It is the thing that USC student went all in on to win his scholarship. Page is live now. Link in the description. Look around if you want, 3 days away. And tomorrow, not probably tomorrow, I'm not sure, but the Berklee Series number 3 closes the series. How this principle becomes a whole line that works the changes. No backing track. So tonight, A section, the 8 bar, the third of every chord, write them down. Play one note per bar, metronome on the one, and make the one sounds the melody every single time. Not even the two and four yet. Just tick tock 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 tick tock tock tock, and trying to hit the melody, the third on the tick sound. Okay, that is the homework. Which chord change in All the Things You Are has always felt like a war to you? I read every comment, so please put the comment down below. Until next time, keep swinging.